Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also make sure you turn off your hot and cold water supplies. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the Samsung washer drive motor. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new drive motor, which consists of the rotor, the stator, and the sensor. The drive motor is what drives the tubs during the wash cycles. The main reason to be changing it out is if the motor has gone bad and your washer isn't working. In order to get to the part, we have to lay the washer on the front. So first we're going to put a piece of tape on the lid so it doesn't bounce around while we move it. And then we're going to go around back and take off the fill hoses. So we're going to put a towel down to catch any water that might spill out. And then we're going to take our pliers and remove the fill hoses. Make sure you remember which one goes where. They're labeled on the machine, hot and cold. Once you're ready to take them off, you can grab your pliers and loosen them up. Once you break them free, you can just loosen them with your hand. Now that we have the fill hoses disconnected, we can lay a towel down. We're going to lay the washer on its front. We don't want to scratch it up or the floor. Remember to get somebody to help you if you need to. You don't want to drop the washer, it is kind of heavy. Now that we have the washer laying on its front, we have access to the part. First thing we're going to do is remove this bracket. We're going to use a 10mm socket to remove the screws that hold it in. Once you have both screws out, we can remove the bracket. There's a little tab on each side that holds it in, so you have to squeeze a little bit to release it, and then you can pull it out. Now that we have the bracket out of the way, we can remove this 17mm nut that holds the rotor onto the bottom of the stator. We're going to use a socket and take it off. It may be a little tight, so you may have to grab it right here and hold it while you turn the nut. Once you have the nut off, you can pull it out a little bit so you can get the washers off. Once you have those off, you can pull the rotor off and set it aside. Now that we have the rotor out of the way, we have to take the stator off. First thing we're going to do is disconnect the two wire harnesses. There's a locking tab on the back side of this one. All you have to do is press it so you can pull it off. The other wire harness has a locking tab on each side, so you have to squeeze it and pull that one off. Once you have those both off, you can get them out of the way. So we can use a 10mm socket to remove the bolts that hold the stator in. Once you have all the bolts removed, you can pull the stator out. Here's the old drive motor next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. To put the new stator on, all you have to do is line it up and push it into place so we can put the bolts back in. You want to make sure there's 3 little circles right here. You want to make sure that this one's at the top, so the electrical connections are over here at 4 o'clock. Once you have it in place, we can use our 10mm socket to put the bolts back in. Now that we have the stator back in place, we can reconnect the wire harnesses. All you have to do is push them into place so they lock and you get a good connection. To put the rotor back on, all you have to do is line it up and have the shaft come through the center. It is magnetic, but you may have to turn it a little bit to get the teeth to line up. Once you have it lined up, we can put the washers and the nut back on. Once you have the nut down as far as you can turn it, we're going to grab our 17mm socket again, and we're going to hold the rotor and the stator together while we tighten it down. Once you have the nut tightened down, because we were moving this tub around and shaking it a little bit, you want to make sure that your suspension rods didn't fall out of their holders, and you want to make sure that they're in there properly before we lift the washer back up onto its feet. Next, we can put the bracket back on. All you have to do is slide it underneath the tabs on each side and line it up so the screw holes are lined up. Once you have both sides in, we can use our 10mm socket to put the screws back in. Now that we have the screws tightened down, we can put the machine back on its feet. To lift the machine back up on its feet, you want to come around the front and get somebody to help you if you need it, because just like when you laid it down, it's heavy. So carefully lift it up and put it back on the feet. Now we can go around to the back side and reconnect the fill hoses. To reconnect the fill hoses, all you have to do is start them by hand and get them snug. Once you snug them down, you can tighten them down with the pliers to make sure you get a good seal. When you're hooking up the water fill lines, make sure you hook up the hot one to the hot side and the cold one to the cold side. Now that we have the fill hoses reconnected, we can take the tape off the top, and you can plug it back in, turn the water back on, and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.